Hey, hi there. I really kind of like that. I mean, granted, it's a Wiccan saying, but I really actually kind of like I like the graphics. Maybe could have a different saying. Maybe we can come up with something. Anyway, hope everybody's having a good evening. I need to get back over here so I can see what the hell everybody's saying. By the way, thank you guys for joining us live. Looks like we got Jennifer, Cindy, and Dave this evening. And for those who will be watching the pre-recorded version later, um, if you don't catch it here because Facebook deleted the damn thing for whatever reason, you can also find it over on the Celtic Shamanism um, YouTube page. In fact, I will go ahead and copy the link to that channel right now in the chat before I forget it. Not that I ever forget anything, mind you. Right, I think that's going to be the link to the Celtic Shaman page, and then of course attached to that is the Open Pagan Church page. I try to get these videos up on archive over in YouTube just in case Facebook decides to go batshit crazy and delete the damn things. So, the reason my video is cut off a little bit over here on the right side is because I had to rearrange my camera because of rearranging the screen behind me so that you guys can't see my messy ass office. But if I straighten it up where it's used to being, where I'm dead center, you can see my air conditioner and junky desk, the other desk in my office back over there. I don't like that at all, so I brought it over so that the screen is in the center, and I guess I could move my ass over. Ha ha ha. How about that? Well, welcome to another evening live with the Shaman. This evening, I have absolutely no idea what the topic was about. I set the topic earlier in the week, set the date, posted it, and Facebook ate the damn thing. So if anybody saw what the damn topic was, please by all means let me know, because I need to know what it was. Kind of befuddles me. That's the reason I entitled it What the Hell. Dave, what are you saying, Dave? Let's talk about the spirit world and how they interact with us. That's a damn good topic. In fact, I will make sure I change the name of this video after it's done before we upload it. So tonight's topic, thank you Dave, is about the spirit world and how they interact with us. Well, that could actually come back in multiple different perceptions, if you will. And what I mean by that is the spirit world interacts with different people differently. Example, a lot of my ancestors, my grandmother for one, they tend to come to me when I'm sleeping or driving down the road like going to work in the morning. A lot of times in the morning I leave early enough that I can set my cruise control and just drive the 35 to 40 minutes to work without traffic. And that's when the spirit part of my wee little brain tends to like to bugger off and do other things. Because the forward mind is busy. The spirit world, as it were, also communicates with other people in more invasive natures, so I've heard, i.e., moving things, turning off TVs, changing channels, moving things around where nobody has a hold of them. Ooh. Oh, guess you saw my hand, didn't you? I've heard stories of these. I've never actually seen a spirit interaction. And whatever you do, don't call them poltergeist. If you truly look up poltergeist, poltergeist is the interaction of the individual that is afflicted with some form of extreme emotional turmoil, thereby interacting their ability to affect the physical world around them, usually in a very dangerous nature. Poltergeist truly have actually nothing to do with the spirit world, though a lot of your mundane individuals would like to think they are. You know, like things getting thrown at the camera for no reason. I'm going to be looking for that one of these days. Oh well, it's back there somewhere. So, the interaction of the spirit world with us is as different as you and I, right? The spirit world doesn't always interact with the same people exactly the same. I've known some people that have absolutely no um, spirit world communication, spirit world interaction whatsoever. Nada. Some of the strongest shamans that I have met through the years, they don't even communicate with the spirit world. Everything they communicate with is on this plane. Individuals, spirit, living people, spirit, what have you. And it doesn't make them any less stronger. I've had some students that never actually have a forward memory or an actual tangible memory of the astral. It doesn't mean that they're not shaman. It just means that that particular connection has not been made or has not been made yet. May never be made. Who the hell knows? I know that my connection with the astral, as far as being able to remember it, when I'm actually capable of remembering exactly detail what happened, comes in spurts. It doesn't happen all the time. Most of my communication with the spirit world comes from back here, the crown. The crown is the connecting point between your spirit and the cosmos spirit or the spirit world as it goes. The frontal lobe, that typically controls emotions, personality, anxieties, anger, whatever. The 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 primal lobe, as some scientists call it. Now, Dave says I've dealt with the spirit world in a physical way all of my life. It can be very overwhelming sometimes, but I wouldn't change the way I am. Absolutely. And I mean, we've talked about gifts, comma curses before on our broadcast, and those of us that walk with certain gifts or have acknowledged our gifts, it's my belief that every human being has a gift of some kind. I've met some people where their gifts are to be completely, totally full of shit 24/7. I've met other people who absolutely refuse to acknowledge any sort of gift whatsoever. But they will admit, mind you, they will admit that they have good, what's the word? Intuition. That's it. They won't admit that they have any metaphysical gifts, but they'll admit they have good intuition. Can anybody say semantics? Um, Cindy says lights flickering at the house. Ooh. Well, by the way, we are under a severe thunderstorm warning here in North Texas. So if my lights go out and I go poof, you'll know what happened. Thunder said boom and out went the lights. Let's hope it doesn't, because it really pisses off my computers and servers when it does that. Even though they're on battery backups and lightning protection and everything else I can find to plug them into prior to the electrical socket, it still pisses off my Plex server. And anybody that is attached to my Plex server can tell you it gets pissy on a weekly basis. So anyway, where were we? Oh, the spirit world interacting with individuals. Spirits are around us all the time. Some are with us to guide us, to help us through life, to hopefully not make the mistakes they did. Some spirits are there as mischievous little shits to stir chaos and trouble. And some spirits are there simply as observers. Some spirits, they simply kick back, open a cold beer, get drunk, and watch the humans do stupid shit. What some spirits do, they're observers. All they do is watch. They just watch what's going on. So, with this in mind, we've seen how spirits interact with Dave. And for those of you that may watch the archive later on YouTube, I haven't found a way to realistically copy and paste all of the chat over to YouTube yet. So if you're watching the archive later, you will have to pop over to Live with the Shaman on Facebook. Well, yeah. Dave says we're born with spirits around us and we cannot lie to them. And it repeats itself by saying, we cannot lie to them. I heard you the first time. Yes, I do believe that we are born with spirits all around us. Our ancestors, for one. I have vague memory through my regressions that I've done of ancestors, great grandfolk on all four sides of the family who communicated with me when I was just a wee lad. Damned if I can tell you what they said. I don't remember. That was a long time ago. A real long time ago. But there you go. Yes, Dave, we never repeat ourselves. What were we talking about? Oh, so I found that when I was 12, 13, that I seemed to understand certain animals' needs, mostly horses. I've never quite been able to communicate with cats. I tend to just watch cats like I watch most people. As in, what the hell are you doing now? But when I was growing up, um, I spent most of my time as a youth on a farm, a ranch, working with, training horses, what have you. And I always seemed to understand what the horse needed. Um, I've still often questioned whether or not I was completely crazy or if it was real. But I remember when I was 12 or 13, I was sitting in the hay barn and I was just enjoying the quiet, watching the horses as they eat. And I heard in the back of my head, hey, what? Hey, want, hey. Okay, um, who said that? And I heard it again, want, hey. And the stallion that was first stall to the left, there were 8 stalls in this barn, all 8 stalls. Um, there were a few stallions and a few mares, and of course we never let them get together because we were boarding them for other individuals. And all I kept hearing was want, hey. I have lost my fucking mind. I know I'd lost my mind. I was convinced I was batshit crazy. So I happened to look at the stallion stall, like I said, on the far left, and the hay rack was empty. Now, mind you, most of these horses did not go out to pasture much. Okay? If they went to pasture, they went out one at a time for a few hours a day to run and kick up their heels and stretch their muscles and get out of the pen for a little bit. We could not allow all of these horses out at the same time because if one of them got hurt, we were responsible. Like I say, we were boarding them for other individuals. So I thought, well, okay, maybe it's just the back of my brain reminding me that I needed to hay these animals. Okay, fine. So I got up, got the blocks of hay required, don't remember how many it was, it doesn't matter, and shook them up real good so it pulled them apart and dropped them into the hay rack. Don't remember how many bells it was. And as I walked away, I heard, just as plain as if I was sitting talking to someone, thank you. So I spun and I looked at the animal, the horse, big horse. I said, you didn't just talk to me. Now keep in mind, I'm 12 or 13 years old. Okay? I said, you did not just talk to me. Nothing. Nothing back here. Nothing in here. And I was convinced there was nothing in here. It had all gone to mush. So I heard a female voice. Hey, want hay. Oh no, guys, really? No, this shit ain't happening. So I looked further down and all of the horses needed hay. So I got the required amount of hay and put it into all of the hay bins. And as I was walking away, I heard in unison 8, I think, different voices all say thank you simultaneously. Being 12 stroke 13 years old, I went haul balls across the pasture to the house. I hit the house like a full-blown stallion hitting a fence. Flew into the house where my mother was preparing dinner. And I sit down at the table and I looked at my mother. And she turned around and she looked at me and she said, "Are you okay? You look like you just saw a ghost." Uh, sorta, kinda. So she got done with supper and she kind of let it go. And of course, this is munching on me. This is eating on me hard here. In fact, while she was finishing supper, I went back out to the same barn where the same horses are still eating on the same hay. And I walked in the barn and I said, "Anybody need anything else?" All of them lifted their heads and looked at me and turned their heads kind of sideways. Nothing. No voices, no sounds, no nothing. I walked out of the barn completely, totally screwed up. Went back to the house, sit down, had dinner. The rest of the guys were there. Everybody was there, and we ate dinner. And I was very quiet, kept my mouth shut, because the last thing I wanted to be was committed because I had lost my fucking mind, or I thought I had. So, long story short, everybody goes to bed. Mother calls me outside. We go outside, we sit on the tailgate of the truck. She lights up a cigarette, and I'm thinking to myself, I'd like to have one of those. But I didn't start smoking until I was, 17, 18 years old anyway. So I kept my mouth shut on that. And she said, "Okay, spill it." Spill what? "Well, you have been too quiet all evening. You did not finish your dinner. And you haven't said anything to anyone. What's going on?" So I told her the sordid story of the 8 horses and the hay. She didn't laugh. She didn't look concerned. She didn't even appear she didn't even appear surprised. She said, "Well, did you get them their hay?" "Yes, ma'am, I gave them their hay." "Okay." "And they said thank you." Well, that was nice. After that, I never heard another horse actually speak. But I just knew what they needed, what they wanted, when they were hungry, when they were thirsty, whether or not they were uncomfortable when I was riding them like in a parade or just out riding fences. And I really did try for months after that to get any one of these 8 horses to talk to me, as in we're talking here. Keep in mind, I was a kid. I grew up on Mr. Ed, for God's sakes. Mr. Ed was my weekly program. I thought I had lost my fucking mind. So this goes to show the way the spirit world can interact or communicate with us. I later grew as I entered my early teens. I knew that I had a gift for helping people, listening to people, and just knowing what they needed or what they wanted. Had no idea where it came from. Mother always just called it a gift. I seemed to know when somebody passed, whether or not they were doing okay. And that's not all of the time with all of the people. I just recently had someone very close to me pass on, and I knew something was wrong, something was off, but I couldn't pinpoint it, and I couldn't figure out who it was until I had a conversation the next morning, and lo and behold, yes, he had passed on. And you know, what do? You get up, you go on, and you continue on life because, well, you got to live. And oddly enough, the only thing I've heard from him is that I'm okay. I'm okay now. I said, okay, great. Um, if it's time, move on. If it's not, move on when you're ready. The door is always open here anytime you want to visit. And I only allow that for certain spirits. Anybody that ever experienced property down south knew that that was a portal, it was a layover for spirits to lay over if they so choose, if they so chosen, choose, if they wanted to, until it was time for them to go home, as it were. I never allowed anything damaging or dangerous to stay on property. So, but the way spirits interact with us, like I said before, I'm sure you can attest. Those of you who are watching live, and those of you who will watch the pre-recorded broadcast later, you will be able to attest to, I'm sure, that spirits may have interacted with you a little differently. Um, some people have reported seeing spirits physically while they're watching TV. Some people report, as I do from time to time, seeing shadows out of the corner of your eye. Because of the neighborhood in which we live, I have several cameras mounted on the outside of the house, and I keep those cameras pulled up when I'm in the living room watching TV, because we get quite a bit of meanness come through here. And if I catch your ass on camera and I'm still awake, I'm gonna fuck you up. If I can catch you. So, pardon me. How do... Oh, I was telling you about the cameras. Sometimes I'll see a blitz of light flash across the camera. Sometimes I may see a shadow go across the lens, and it doesn't look like a hand. There's no shape to it or anything like that. It's just a shadow that crosses in front of the lens, and it's generally done just about that quick. Well, it's enough to catch your eye, that's for damn sure. Don't ever get anything out of it. They're just passing through, I guess. Who the hell knows? Quite frankly, who the hell cares? I know there are spirits around us at all times. And do they communicate with me? From time to time. They communicate with me when the need is needed to be communicated with. So, I do apologize for my voice though. Something in the air has got sinus drainage picked up, even though I've done up on the sinus meds. I'm going to let my voice take a little bit of a break. We'll listen to a few minutes of music, take a break. You guys feel free, and those of you watching the pre-recorded program, by all means, put your experience of patience, of spirits communicating with you in the chat area, and we'll be right back shortly.
Once in a month when the moon is full, some secret place shall ye gather. Adore the spirit of me who is queen of all of the wise, and I hear you calling, and I hear you calling. Sing and dance, feast and make love, all in my name. For mine is the spirit in ecstasy, mine is joy on earth, and I hear you calling, and I hear you calling. Mine is the secret that opens the door unto the land of youth. Mine is the cup of wine of life, cauldron of care it when, and I hear you calling, and I hear you calling. I give freedom and I give peace, reunion with those gone before. I am the mother of all that lives, my love is poured on the earth, and I hear you calling, and
Well, I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time with listening to music. I realize we only have a 1 hour program. So, we'll get on through it. I like that picture. That's the reason I kind of paused on it. Every one of us And this has always been my belief. Always been my belief. Every one of us walk with spirits. Some of us are more attuned to the spirits around us. Some of us are more open to spirit communication. I've seen some of us put spirits where there really may not be, for whatever reason. I've seen some of us that they want to believe, though they've never really actually seen, heard, or experienced spirit, but they want to believe. And there's nothing wrong with that. But until you have experienced watching things take place that you're nowhere around, until you have dealt with the spirit of a loved one moving things to get your attention, or turning on a light switch. Now, I am an electrician. There is nothing in a light switch that can turn itself on. There is a protect system, spring-loaded protect system in a switch that if it gets too hot, it breaks contact, thereby turning the light off. But I have had ceiling lights come on while I was asleep. That will freak your shit out. And of course, you wake up, you sit bolt up in bed, you're like, what the hell? Why did you turn on the light? What do you want? Dead silence. Nothing. Really? You're going to turn on a freaking light while I'm asleep, and then you're not going to tell me what the hell's going on? That's messed up. So me being who I am, I get up, I grab a nightstick, and I go for a walk about through the house. Sometimes I go outside, I'll walk around the house just to be sure things are where they're supposed to be and nobody's getting stupid. I've never yet, knock on wood, never yet gotten up to any mischievous or anything bad going on. Who the hell knows? Maybe it was just a spirit wanting to screw with somebody, so they flipped the light switch on and come back, get ready to crawl back in bed, and sure enough, the light switch is in the on position. The light is not just on. The light switch is in the on position. I might could chalk it up I was sleepwalking if I was standing there at the light switch when the sumbitch come on. But I was dead ass asleep laying flat on my back in bed. Hasn't happened a lot. Has happened a few times over the years. But that will screw with you. Dave says they're okay. They don't eat much. True that. Yeah, it's probably a good thing. I can eat enough. I can eat enough for both of us. Anyway. So yeah. Spirit interacting with human beings has been going on since the beginning of time, just as this picture here depicts. Granted, this is a little leaning towards Wicca. You got the maid, the mother, and the crone, but you also have the spirit, the spiritual interaction of, depicting the spirit interacting with human beings. And that's been happening since the beginning of time. Now, the way, like I said, the way spirits interact with us, that's going to be different. It's going to be different for each of us. Some of us hear them, some of us see them, some of us just know they're there. Some of us, all of the above. Sometimes we may feel just a cool breeze blow through us on a hot day, and there's not a breath of wind. Um, there's not a breath of wind going on in the background. So, what do you think? How has spirits interacted with you? And just because my voice is trying to play up, and um, I don't want to go to work tomorrow without a voice, wouldn't be good. I think I'm probably going to draw to a close relatively early our session tonight. But Dave come up with a really good topic. How spirits interact with humans. I think it's something that I would like to have more people come together for a more interactive conversation as to how spirits interact with humans. So I think if those of you listening to this broadcast later, if we can get enough people to have a fully interactive conversation, let me know, and we will schedule an actual video where we can all discuss the different interactivity. Oh, now you guys wake up and want to post something. Let's see. Yes, intuition, spiritual interaction, Jennifer, is a wonderful thing. And seriously, you guys get together and let's schedule a full conversation on things that you have experienced spiritual interaction with. Seriously, I think if you don't mind, I'm going to bugger off, let my voice rest a bit, get ready for tomorrow. Um, Thank you for watching Live with the Shaman. I apologize for the confusion on the header. I will name this part 1 because there will be another part, and we'll schedule it. How about next week? I'll go ahead and plan spiritual interaction for next week. Absolutely. Hey, you guys, thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for visiting. Have a great week. We'll see you next time here on Live with the Shaman.